That was Life Storm from Franco-British singer-songwriter Sôra. She's just released her first EP called Number One via Colligence Records. Thank you so much for being on the show, Sôra. So tell us more about this brand new EP that just came out on November 23rd.
Well, it's our first EP, so very exciting for us. And we've been working on it for about a year now. It's was quite a lot of work, but at the same time, everything was so natural between us that I guess a year is very small in an amount of time, I guess.
So it's very exciting to have this new EP coming out. So this is just the beginning for you as Sôra. Tell us about how you got started. Were you singing in other bands before?
Yes, I was actually a singer in bands, in a band called No Hood. And that was kind of neo-soul jazz music. And we came to my partner's studio, and that's how we met, I guess, yeah, recording my singing.
And that's how Sôra began.
Yeah,
with that,
exactly.
That chance meeting.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to listen to a title off your EP. It's called Sakura, which I had to Google. It's a Japanese cherry blossom. Take a listen.
Sound of your whisper while seeing flowers grow. Why would you hasten to fall when all we did was hard?
So there are 4 tracks on your new EP, and they're all very different. Some are kind of jazzy and electro, others are more channel more soul, R&B, or even hip-hop on the end of that song, Sakura. Now, what about your influences? Tell me a little bit more about that.
I've been influenced by a lot of people, I guess, and a lot of styles. I love listening to every kind of music, so I guess I was never made to do a specific type of music. And I guess nowadays, musicians have become so good in specific styles that hybrid and new vibes and really personal stuff are more into our time period, I guess.
And there's who are the artists you admire, for instance? Because when I listen to your music, I hear all sorts of different voices. I hear some Erykah Badu, Coco Rosie, also Little Dragon. Who's your favorite?
Erykah Badu, I guess, is my queen.
Yeah.
But of course, Yukimi Nagano from Little Dragon was, for me, a model too, I guess.
You can definitely hear it.
Yeah. Well, she's really hybrid, so I guess that really caught my attention at some point. I also listened to a lot of rock music. Yeah. No, I guess Erykah Badu's the big one. And when I was little, I also listened to Beyoncé a lot through Destiny's Child, Pharrell with Nerd and stuff like that.
So all sorts of influences coming into your music. And you also collaborate with other musicians in this project. Tell us a little bit more about your songwriting process. How does it work?
It really depends. Sometimes just songs just flow out from nowhere and just, yeah. Sometimes it's really easy to write. And sometimes I have to think about what I want to say at first and then try to build something up like an essay or whatever you call it. And
because you got a very impressive voice range as well. Did you study music before going into songwriting?
Yeah. I actually used to study languages, so English and German, and then I stopped and wanted to really concentrate on music. So I started studying in a music school in Paris for a year, and then auditioned to get into conservatoire at school.
Like a big music school.
Yeah, big public
music academy.
Yeah, big public music academy in Paris, and that's how I got into jazz vocal stuff. So I'm still studying jazz.
Still learning as you go along. Now,
Yeah.
Sôra is your stage name. Where does it come from? Especially the accent, the hat-shaped accent circonflexe, which we
Yes.
have in the French language.
Well, it comes from ancient Indian American languages, I guess, and it means soaring, singing bird. So, you know.
So a soaring, flying animal.
Yeah, and I thought it was kind of what I wanted to be, I guess.
But we can
Nice
hear it in
singing
your
bird.
music. And now you're both British and French. How has being bicultural influenced your music?
Major, I guess, because I've been listening to music since I was little, but it was always very British or American. And my mum used to speak to me in English since I was a baby. So I guess that really was important in my life. And all the music we used to listen at home was English or American. So I guess that's why I'm singing in English now.
In English, and it sounds great.
Thank
And
you.
we're going to move on to some other music news that's making headlines. England's cult metal band Venom have returned from the depths to release their 15th studio album. It's called Storm the Gates, their first album in 2 years. Now, according to the frontman and bassist Kronos, it's a killer album packed full of awesome riffs and screaming mayhem. It really raises the bar to deliver demonic mix of old and new. Here is the opening track off that album. It's called Bring Out Your Dead.
Bring out your dead, the sound of decay. Bring out your dead, living hell every day. As the rats and the fleas keep on breeding, look like death becomes plague. On the sick and the dead they keep feeding, as the world is displayed.
Moving on from hard metal, after extending it 3 times, Bruce Springsteen has wrapped up a marathon solo acoustic residency on Broadway that ran for over a year. Now, if you weren't lucky enough to see the Boss's Tony Award-winning songs and stories live, well, now you can listen to them at home on an album. It's called Springsteen on Broadway. It's an intimate invitation into the life and work of New Jersey's most famous storyteller. It's elegant and moving, and you can also see a faithful film version of Springsteen's wit and wisdom on Netflix. Take a look.
I wanted to be able to celebrate and honor its beauty. I wanted to be able to be a critical voice when I thought that that's what the times called for. I wanted to know my story, your story. Where were we going together as a people? Let's tramps like us, baby, we were born to run. More than anything else, I wanted to be able to tell that story well to you. Baby, we were born.
And finally, her addictive mix of zouk and dancehall is taking her straight to the top of the charts. Aya Nakamura's second album, Nakamura, came out at the beginning of November, and it's already platinum, with 100,000 copies sold. The 23-year-old Malian singer from Aulnay-sous-Bois, so that's a suburb just north of Paris, is a megastar on social media and streaming sites. Here's the song Jaja, which is already a massive hit with nearly 258 million views on YouTube.
Mais comment ça, le monde est hyper. Tu croyais quoi? On serait plus jamais. Je pourrais t'afficher, mais c'est pas mon délire. D'après les rumeurs, tu m'as eu dans ton lit. Oh, dja dja. Y'a pas moyen, dja dja. J'suis pas ta cata, dja dja. Genre, en katana, baby, tu dettes ça. Oh, dja dja. Y'a pas moyen, dja dja. J'suis pas ta cata, dja dja. Genre, en katana, baby, tu dettes ça. Tu penses à moi, je pense à faire de l'argent. Je suis pas ta daronne, je te fais pas la morale. Tu parles sur moi, ya air. Crache encore, ya air. Tu voulais m'avoir, tu savais pas comment faire. Tu jouais un rôle, tu finiras aux enfers.
Now, Sôra, you were telling us about the big influence of English language music in your songwriting. Would you ever consider singing in French?
I've considered it a few times, But I guess I'm not ready yet.
Yeah. Is it harder to sing in French?
It's harder for me, I guess, because I can't relate to any proper artists in French. Like French for me is kind of really poetic, but not that melodic.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to think about Gainsbourg and all the really great writers, like musicians and writers in French, but can't relate to much more. So
maybe one day we'll get to hear you sing in French. Now, I just wanted to thank you so much for being our guest on the show. Be sure to check out her new EP. So it's called Number One. And if you're in Paris on the 20th of February, you can catch Sôra at the Bain Douche. You're going to play us out with an a cappella version of your song Sakura. Now, for more arts and cultures news, you can head to our website and, of course, stay in touch on social media. More news coming up on France 24 just after this.
C'est copain, c'est copain, c'est copain, c'est copain. Gotta know life is not going nowhere. Got the feeling he's hearing my prayer. Maybe life only needs a ship. Might be like a body switch. I'm sure you can tell. There ain't no hell. Better make the most of your day. 'Cause our ship gotta sail away. Maybe your soul wants to lead you somewhere. Can't pretend I'm not having some thoughts. Especially that day when we saw you went up. Now I know it's with the ship you broke up. Now I know it's with the ship you hold up. Whatever, life is just like a sakura. Pushing from the ground forever and ever. Growing some pretty flowers whenever light comes back from darkness blur.